Do you remember when Sunday dinners felt like a sacred ritual, a little slice of heaven that brought everyone together in the warmth of home? The aroma of pot roast or a baked chicken mingling with the scents of fresh vegetables and homemade bread wafting through the kitchen. Those exquisite family gatherings carried an unspoken reverence for customs that seemed eternal. Yet over time, many of those cherished practices faded quietly away, leaving behind just the echoes of cherished voices and laughter. Today, let's take a trip down memory lane and explore 7 vanished customs from the American Sunday dinner table that nobody scheduled a goodbye for. First on this nostalgic list is the treasured tradition of using the good china, which came out only once a week. Do you recollect the way the light danced on the delicate patterns of the plates, how they felt cool and smooth in your hands? Each piece told a story of holiday gatherings and special moments, transforming an ordinary meal into an occasion. The careful ritual began the night before, as families dusted off the china cabinet and gently polished each item with love. Think back to those moments then, the table set with the finest ware, each fork and knife gleaming in the soft light, a testament to the importance of togetherness that Sunday dinners embodied. Now, imagine the fresh crispness of a pressed tablecloth, ironed the night before, transforming the dining room table into a canvas of shared histories. The aroma of the fabric, with its lingering smell of lavender starch, created a familiar backdrop to laughter and conversations. The sheer act of smoothing out the creases symbolized a kind of care and preparation, elevating the meal from something routine to something sacred. Do you remember how the cloth felt beneath your fingers as you set the table, the fabric inviting family and friends to take their places? As everyone settled in, a hush would fall momentarily over the chatter as grace was said in unison before anyone dared to touch a fork or knife. It was a moment of gratitude, a brief pause where we acknowledged the meal before us, the hands that prepared it, and the blessings of family and friendship. Each voice joining in harmony felt like an echo of generations past, tying us to roots deep in our history. Do you remember those words spoken in unison, the sense of community that enveloped us, as if we were all part of a larger tapestry? Next, let's pause and reflect on the relish tray, a beloved staple of Sunday dinners that combined an array of colors and tastes into one delightful display. Do you remember the crunch of fresh celery sticks and the tangy bite of green olives? A tray bursting with vibrant peppers and pickles was often the centerpiece of the table, inviting family members to nibble and chat as they waited for the main course. Those little dishes served not just as an appetizer, but as conversation starters, drawing us closer with laughter and shared memories as we reached for favorites. Then came the moment when children had to wait to be excused before leaving the table. It was a ritual steeped in respect, a gentle reminder to honor the meal they had been given and the company they had kept. Do you recall the feeling of being so close, yet so far, as you patiently listened to the stories unfolding around you? The lingering warmth of that shared time together emphasized the importance of family bonding, transforming anticipation into memories that still resonate. The sound of the radio or early television was often silenced during dinner, creating an intimate atmosphere where conversation reigned supreme. Taking a break from the hum of modern life, families would gather around the table, sharing stories of the week and dreams for the future. Do you remember the way the silence felt? It was a cocoon of familial warmth, reconnecting and rediscovering one another beyond the clamor of outside influences. Conversations ebbed and flowed around the table, crafting a rhythm that felt like a well-rehearsed dance, a beautiful interplay of voices, laughter, and the occasional pause for reflection. Finally, we arrive at the last and perhaps most emotional of our traditions, grandparents seated at the head of the table, the keepers of wisdom and history. Do you remember those moments when Grandma shared her famous recipes or Grandpa recounted tales of yesteryear around the dinner table? As the last Sunday dinner unfolded after a grandparent was gone, the empty chair became a poignant reminder of their absence. The stories that danced around the table felt a little less vibrant, like a sunset subtly dimming into twilight. It's in those moments we understood the transient nature of life, how important it is to cherish those gatherings, carrying the love and lessons passed down through generations. As we reminisce about these customs, it becomes evident how much they shaped our understanding of family, tradition, and belonging. Each vanished practice, from the good china to the absent chair at the head of the table, carried with it a wealth of memories, a narrative thread that wove us together. The simple act of sharing a meal became a profound expression of love and togetherness, infused with layers of history and emotion. And so I invite you to reflect. Do you remember those Sunday dinners, the quiet rituals that transformed mere food into something sacred? What moments from your own dinner table have left an indelible mark on your heart? We'd love to hear your treasured memories. Share your stories in the comments as we celebrate the nostalgia of cherished family gatherings that still echo in our hearts today. With the passage of time, traditions may fade, but the essence of those meals lives on within us, connecting us to a bygone era of warmth, love, and the magical experience of a Sunday dinner well spent. As we dive even deeper into these vanished customs, let's remember the gentle rustle of napkins and the soft clinking of silverware, sounds that were as much a part of the Sunday dinner symphony as the sumptuous flavors of the food itself. Perhaps you recall how large cloth napkins were layered just so, each one meticulously folded as the final touch on the table. The tactile sensation of running your fingers over the cotton or linen, freshly ironed and practically shimmering in the candlelight, added an air of formality and elegance to the meal. Do you remember those moments, the subtle anticipation that each gathering brought, shifting you into a mindset of togetherness? And then there were the foods, with each family often having their own secret recipes passed down over generations. The kitchen would be filled with fragrant bouquets, roasted meats glistening with glaze, the buttery scent of mashed potatoes, and the crisp sweetness of seasonal vegetables. Can you recall a kitchen bustling with activity as everyone lent a hand? A brother might be skillfully carving the bird, while a sister stirred a pot of gravy, and someone always had the job of setting the timer for the biscuits to ensure that they emerged golden brown and flaky. Each morsel tasted was enriched with history, simple, honest ingredients transformed into treasures handed down from mother to mother, father to son. Some of the most enjoyable customs weren't even about the food, but rather the way it was presented. One could never forget the lovingly made centerpiece, often a bounty of fruits or vibrant flowers, each thoughtfully arranged. Some families used handmade pottery or woven baskets as vessels for their house specialties, enhancing the visual feast that would accompany the culinary delights. Can you picture that bright orange carving of laughter assigned to the pumpkin pie at Thanksgiving, or those fluffy clouds of whipped cream adorning a vibrant strawberry shortcake in the summertime? Days of preparation truly reflected the love shared around that table. Yet, not every moment was serene. Remember those occasional friendly squabbles that erupted over the last piece of pie or the perfect helping of roast beef? Those light-hearted debates were often accompanied by boisterous laughter, teasing, and the clinking of glasses filled with iced tea or lemonade. They reminded us of our connection, of the different personalities around the table, the quiet cousin who found joy in the smallest things, the grandparent who interjected with stories from their youth, or the sibling who always pushed to claim the most dessert. These small moments stitched together a lively tapestry of family dynamics that were as essential as the meal itself. Storytelling played a vital role around that dinner table and created an atmosphere charged with nostalgia and learning. Often, it was the grandfather who would launch into a tale, breaking bread while describing his childhood antics with just the right amount of embellishment. Maybe remember how he might lean forward, eyes sparkling, as he painted vivid pictures of far-off places, wars fought, or seasonal festivals from long ago. Those stories were lessons filled with adventure, caution, and humor, a rich inheritance passed down in the raw material of your family's experience. As children, we didn't always appreciate the weight of these narratives, but looking back, it's clear they had much to teach us about resilience and significance, the very fabric of what made our family unique. Isn't it amazing how a single meal could yield endless lessons? The context was timeless. It was more than just feeding the body. It was about nurturing hearts and instilling a sense of belonging. Now, let's revisit another cherished custom, the after-dinner rituals. Do you remember the sensation of finally being excused and the joyous rush to move beyond the table? Coffee would be poured, and the adults often migrated into another room for a game of cards or just to share gossip about the week. Meanwhile, children might settle in the living room, a blanket draped across knees, watching the flickering screen of the television we'd turned on just in time for the Sunday night special, an escape into the world outside our own. The faint sound of laughter from adults mingled with the distant hum of the TV, creating a layered soundscape echoing family safety. Let's not forget those occasional Sunday dinners that coincided with holidays. Can you picture how they would leap from the mundane to the spectacular with beautiful decorations and themed meals? Thanksgiving dinners were given a crown of cornucopia and pumpkins, while Christmas brought out the gingerbread houses and the traditional honey-baked ham. These occasions illustrated an expansive joy that swept across generations, where your aunts and uncles might bring their own signature dishes, each down the line adding to the festive tableau. When it was time for dessert, a renewed air of excitement would fill the room. Desserts, often the pièce de résistance, came in layers, the ambrosial scent of pumpkin pie, the lusciousness of pecan, or that classic chocolate cake as the grand finale. Do you remember the excitement that followed the announcement of desserts on? Families gathered around the table again, the anticipation palpable as slices of pie were served alongside scoops of ice cream, the slight sound of spoons against plates creating an almost musical rhythm in celebration. Yet, within this warm tapestry of Sunday dinners, let us acknowledge the bittersweet nature of time. Over the years, families undergo changes, children grow up and move away, grandparents grow older, and new traditions may take the place of the old. Some cherished members may not fill the seats, and the dynamics around the table begin to shift. You may remember the first Sunday dinner after a loss, a sentiment that hung in the air like a soft fog, whispers of memories entwined within uncomfortable silences. The absence of a beloved grandparent, the one who always added warmth and wisdom to those shared meals, created a palpable sense of what was no longer there. In those moments, we learned how to lay the foundation for new customs, retaining the old ones as we gently moved forward. The empty chair where once they sat might host a candle for remembrance, torching the memories of what had been while integrating them into the joy that remained. Discussion would swirl around the table, not to fill the void, but to acknowledge it, each story told perhaps bringing a tear, but also a shared smile thinking of the stories they filled us with. Through laughter and tears alike, Sunday dinners became a microcosm of our lives, mirroring the ebbs and flows of love, connection, and the passage of time. They evolved to embody resilience, an acknowledgement that family bonds grow and adapt as life unfolds in ways we cannot always predict. As we reflect on these long-lost customs, we discover how they served as more than mere rituals. They kept us anchored in love, tradition, and community. So, with this stroll through memory's garden, let us honor those Sunday dinners structured around love, memories, and the simultaneous beauty and sorrow of life. Now, I invite you once more to share your own stories beneath our shared canopy of nostalgia. Reflecting on your unique experiences, which vanished customs made your Sunday dinners feel sacred? What tales and lessons from your own family gatherings resonate in your hearts? Let's keep the spirit of togetherness alive, surrounding those cherished memories with warmth as we share in the beauty of our individual stories.